A potential customer said, "I want to see it clean my screens." So he sent some to us and came in to run them through. What we have here is 30 minutes of unedited footage of Brian running his screens through the Autoblaster screen reclaiming system, the ARS. Video begins with an introduction of the actual customer and discussion of screens sent in to reclaim. We then move to unedited reclaiming of Brian's and another customer's screens with lots of ink in them. Pay close attention to the condition of the screens. They represent the very worst screens possible, giving the ARS reclaim technology a real-world test. Also note, several chemicals were tested, all showing good results, but some worked better than others. The video ends with discussion of reclaim results and whether the customer is placing an order or not.
Hi, I'm Kerry Smith with Hydro Engineering, and this is Brian Denton. He's come up from Sacramento, California today to do some reclaiming with us with our Autoblaster automatic reclaim system. Now, I must say, Brian's got a lot of experience in the screen print business. Maybe you tell us a little bit about it.
Well, pretty much everybody knows that if you have any knowledge of screen printing, then you know that the reclaiming process is the worst job in the building, and rarely does anybody want to do it. And I've done enough of it to know that I don't want to do it anymore. It's hard on your shoulders and your back. You're standing the whole time in front of a washout booth, and you're spraying water that's flying back out at you with the ink all over you, and you leave there looking like you need to go and take a shower. So if I can do anything to make that process easier, that's what I'm here for.
Fantastic. And we understand that your 13-year-old son is doing it right now after school.
That's true.
Yeah. Evidently you lost your screen cleaning guy recently.
Yeah. So, it's luckily he's growing fast enough that he's got to get him new clothes anyways, but the ones he's wearing to work are getting ink covered all top to bottom. So
Yeah. Well, the beauty of the Autoblaster is it shows up for work every day. Pretty reliable employee.
That's the problem we've had in the past.
Exactly. So Brian sent some screens up to us to reclaim, and we might want to talk about those a little bit. These aren't the average screens that a guy might have coming off his press and going right into the reclaim room. Why don't you tell us about them a little bit?
So the screens that I brought, I purposely sent some screens that have maybe a little bit of damage to them, or not the tightest tension. But I wanted to see, sometimes you're on a budget and you want to be able to reclaim these screens and still use them. Sometimes you just can't get rid of them just because they got a little hole in them. And so part of the thing I wanted to see was, hey, if this screen's got a little hole in it or something like that, is 3,000 PSI going to be too much for it? Is it going to make this hole rip? Is it going to cause any other issues? And with a little bit lower tension, is it going to wash out the same as it would with a brand new screen?
Gotcha.
I've seen your guys' videos. I've seen what it can do with a very nice screen that goes through there and seems like it washes out just fine. So I want to kind of give it the worst and see how it handles that.
That ink looks pretty dry to me. Has
Well,
that been in there a while?
It's been in there a little bit. I would say at this point, considering when I shipped it to you and everything else, it's probably a month and a half.
Okay.
But there's some in there that might have a little bit longer. But
Okay, show us some of those.
yeah, and like I said, this one, it's actually probably about the same, but obviously I sent some stuff in with it. The chemicals that I sent were they're scratching around the whole time as they're going, so that's why that looks kind of weird, but it's definitely like, just feeling it, that ink that's pretty dried out.
Okay.
But like I said, I think that cardboard box maybe sucked the moisture out of it too,
Okay.
so yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. But
Okay.
we'll see.
Well, and we've got some screens from a local screen printer that are, relatively fresh off the press. And we're going to run some of these also and see how the machine does in relationship to the ones that Brian kind of set us up with. So, tell me about your current reclaiming process. How does that go?
So we've got your typical little 1600 PSI pressure washer from Home Depot, little Ryobi one, and I'm probably replacing that every 6 months to 8 months, just from, it just can't handle the use.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things also, is I want to, your product becomes highly regarded. I know you guys have been in the industry forever, so I want something that's going to last.
Makes
So
sense.
that's going to be a big help for us.
And are you using a dip tank now?
We use a dip tank. We dip typically about 5 screens at a time.
Okay.
And then we will remove the screens from there, give them one spray out with the pressure washer front and back, throw our chemicals on it, let it sit, get through a little run of them, and then we'll come back to the first one and start washing them out.
Okay.
But I'm typically washing, when I'm doing my final washout, I'm starting, one side, get the other side, and then finishing up on this first side again.
Okay.
So I'm washing it 3 times by hand.
Okay, and when you say
finish.
you put your chemicals on it, that's after the first rinse. Is that some kind of a dehazer or de-inker or combination?
Yes, we're using the pink stuff. It's working very well for us, but
Okay.
I know we use Easy Way also. We use 701 at times
Okay.
after the super strip.
Well, one of the things that our printers have been concerned about is that we're going to want to change their process, and they'd have to use some special chemicals or something, and that's not our intent. Our intent is to allow the screen printer to use whatever he's already using that works for him. And after you get used to the machine, you may modify that a little bit, because you find out that not every screen needs that second cleaning.
Right.
And I'm sure there are some other nuances that'll surface over time.
Yeah, from what I understand of your machine, I don't think I'll be changing my process at all, except for maybe cutting out a step or two.
Nice, nice. Should we reclaim some screens?
I don't see why not. So this set of screens has got its imperfections in it. We've got a little bit of holes, maybe a couple little rips here and there on the edges. So I really kind of set these guys up to give them my worst screens and see what kind of damage it does or how well they turn out. So we're gonna see how that goes. So just to get a quick sense of just what the machine can do on its own, I'm gonna send this screen through with no chemical, nothing, just straight emulsion, just see what it does.
Seems pretty obvious that a little chemical would help.
What's funny is I dipped this in that tank just the littlest bit right before I started, and I never made it past here. So that's what it did. I think it was maybe 10 seconds since I had that dip tank of just getting that on there. So
Okay, so we'll set that one aside.
so we'll let that go and we'll see what it's been about.
Okay, so it has been 40 seconds. There's 45 seconds.
So this is about 45 seconds in the dip tank.
Is the button on? Now, what would you normally do with that screen?
It's ready for next process of.
So you put on your pink stuff?
Now I'm ready to put pink stuff on it, front and back.
Okay, let's put some pink stuff on it. Grab another one of these. It's a strip.
Got a little bit of emulsion in it still, but I think that'll all, it's probably just stuck to some ink.
Didn't pop your screen. That looks like pretty nasty.
Yeah.
There's that. This fan is pretty rosy
Grab that.
Yeah. So I just discovered something. We don't have enough liquid in that tank to fully cover the screen, and that's why we're getting a strip along the top edge. It's
You
not
get 3 of them in here at a time, it'll cover the top, but yeah.
Yeah,
Put
so
more in there, it'll fill it up.
yeah, we need to fill it up.
You put 3 screws in there,
Get some
and
blocks.
we'll see how much it,
Okay.
Fill it up.
where it needs to be from there.
I'm sure you're gonna have 2 or 3 screens. Let's put this one in the back. Little swell over the top.
This one's got chemical on it, and these are putting pink stuff, and there you go. So I've got a little bit of emulsion in this one still, which, you know, that could have just been because of the extra ink being on the back of that emitter, and it just might not get good.
Okay.
So, I'll try something. that tape off, then all that would have came off too.
And it didn't pop it either.
Nope. And I even, I already have these holes here. Didn't tear it any more than it was.
Nice.
So, do that. Same thing.
Anything on that? Okay.
Switch over to the dirty ones.
Okay, so this is the first of our fresh off the press.
So this set of screens is maybe even more dirty than it would normally be. As you can see, there's ink everywhere. So we'll see how well these go through there.
So he's draining the solution out of the screen because these screens have some holes in them.
They do a pinhole system for when they line it up.
That's a good idea.
So
So we're draining that out right now.
can you hold that up there?
Let's put these in there.
Yeah, they got some cost and a lot of this That's why I have to stay under this full of water, so I'm trying to float up.
Ready to push this one? And you want to try some of this?
That's probably going to take a little brush scrubbing with that blue brush. Let that sit for a minute.
Good job.
Yeah. They're like grabbing with lever. They got the same thing, a couple of pinholes here and there.
They're stuck together.
Well, no. These ones would have been scraped out a little bit.
Okay.
This is pretty big. But I have. I wouldn't choose to. But we'll have to redo this. I've got this.
Okay, and this is the one that we put the NASCAR hazer on. Should we try that? This will be a good comparison with your paint stuff. Very good.
Let those sit there.
So I guess that's image technology. Dehazer. Yours seems to be a better dehazer.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of success with mine. I've been pretty happy with it, so I feel like
So this is the one that we could,
that was the one we did with brush with the dehazer.
yeah, so we should probably do this.
This one I just did mine.
Okay, so
That's pretty good.
and this is yours. This is where you got through. Or should we run these up first?
Yeah, we can go. There's too much of this one. Ready to go through the final.
What do you think?
Pretty good to me.
We have, is a little bit of steak like that powder
Yeah. That's probably fine. I've got some screen recs. Maybe just something printed like 4 by 8 screen. I'll show up some back, but that right there is sold.
Okay, well, we'll go back inside and sit and talk for a minute. Here we are back in the office where it's nice and quiet, where we can talk for a few minutes. What are your impressions?
I was very happy with it. I can totally foresee that being something that can be that missing link that we've had in our shop, where it's going to take the place of an employee, basically.
Yeah. Well, and I noticed that some of those screens had a lot of ink in them. Is that unusual for what you're used to?
I wouldn't say it's unusual, but in my own personal shop, we like to get them scraped out a little better than that, and maybe not so much ink around the outside edges, because those are the parts, like if I'm cleaning it manually in my washout booth, to try and clean the ink that's on the outside edge of the screen is a pain. I'm usually working some weird angles trying to spray it off.
So it doesn't come back at
Yeah,
you?
and from what I noticed inside that, it seemed to have gotten all edges and got all the ink off of them.
Nice, nice. Well, you know, I've been doing this for going on 30 years and reclaimed a lot of screens, but mostly screens that were in better condition than these.
Right.
And I noticed a lot of existing tears along the edge of the frame and lots of block out, lots of tape. Would you say that these are your average run-of-the-mill screens, or are these a little worse?
These are your, I need a screen really fast. Let me go burn this on something that I can get out the door right now. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, no, I'd say 95% of the screens in my shop are, in excellent condition, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Well, and obviously you sent those screens up here not intending to ever take them home.
Right.
Yeah.
They are not coming back to Sacramento.
So to the aluminum recycler they go.
That's where they'll be.
Okay. So I guess at the end of the day, it all comes down to whether or not you buy it.
It's going to get purchased as far as I'm concerned.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to hear. We really appreciate you coming to Salt Lake City to spend some time with us today. And it was nice of you to let us put you to work.
Yeah.
Not only your screens, but the other guy's screens.
Yeah.
So now we'll take them back to him and you can send him a bill.
Right.
Great. Well, we appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you
sure.
so much.
I loved it.